The season of fall in Lothlorien. The plentiful harvest of 1420 in the Shire. A hillside in the Highlands of Scotland, where the heather is growing and the sun is setting in supernatural splendor. What attribute do all of these share? The season of fall, which has enchanted hundreds of people in the world, is brought to new meaning in a poem called To Autumn by John Keats. The next few minutes will bring clarity to the hints of meaning contained in John Keats' outstanding work. Welcome to Fallen Perfection. Numbers have been used to enhance images of perfection in many famous classical works. A few numbers in particular, such as 3, 33, and 9, have been made famous by such works as Dante's Divine Comedy. John Keats makes frequent use of these 3 numbers to enhance the image of perfection in his poem. 3 stanzas of 11 lines each, written in iambic pentameter. In each stanza, the first 2 lines introduce the theme that is talked about in the rest of the stanza. Because of this, the main body of each stanza consists of the exponentially perfect number of 3 times 3, or 9. Man shall not live by bread alone, but he should not write by counting stanzas either, and Keats knew this full well. Imagery abounds in his work. The first stanza pictures the result of a plentiful autumn growing season. Vines grown, trees bend, gourds swell, nuts grow plump, fruit is filled with ripeness to the core, and there are so many late flowers that the bees think warm days will never cease. The second stanza gives us a picture of autumn herself, instead of the fruit that she brings. We find her sitting careless in a granary, we stumble across her asleep in a half-harvested field, or we see her crossing a brook with a load on her head. Last of all, she is sitting by a cider press, watching the last drops of the apple drink drip into the barrels and buckets below. However, the third stanza is slightly different. Keats gives us simple sounds, lambs bleating, crickets singing, robins whistling, and swallows twittering, and the reader is instantly transported to another place where he has heard those lovely sounds, and his mind combines them all into one great glorious song. But Keats is hardly finished. The true beauty of his poem is yet to come. It is Keats' use of the word artist's tools that creates something extraordinary. He starts out with word pictures and then enriches his lovely imagery with the use of an amazing tool called alliteration. The repeated occurrence of similar consonant sounds, this technique does not play a very prominent role in the first or second stanzas. His use of this tool is most obvious in stanza 3. It enchants the reader into hearing a rhythmic melody of sounds. Think not of them, thou hast thy music too. Or, full-grown lambs loud bleat from hilly burn. The use of this artistry puts the finishing touch on an already touching work. It rounds out the perfection portrayed in this poem, carrying the meaning on to the subconscious level of the reader's mind. Throughout this entire poem, Keats sees the season of fall as a picturesque moment of richness and bounty. It is a sign of God's glory that he can create the human mind capable of imagining such beauty in a fallen world. May we always be in remembrance of this beautiful world that God has created, and, through this beautiful poem written by John Keats, hold in our minds the images of that world which is to come.